Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, I'll be showing you guys some secrets and interesting things on the new Halo Online maps that were added to Halo 3 on MCC through the mod tools in the latest huge update for MCC. So let's get right into it. The first map we'll be looking at is Diamondback. Now, just to set some expectations, there's not any crazy huge secrets on these maps, just a few interesting things here and there that you might not have noticed before. So, the first thing on Diamondback is, so on a lot of maps, buildings with windows typically have fake windows. Like this part, these windows are obviously fake. But on Diamondback, some buildings here actually have real windows, and these windows have some secret rooms in them that you could potentially use for your maps, whether in Forge or with the mod tools. You can, I don't know what you would put in here. You could put like some small like battle area in here, because like they're actually pretty sizable. You could probably have like a small 1v1 in here, some like octagon arena or something like that. But that little interesting like hidden rooms there, and there's quite a few on the map as well that you could potentially use. And then the next thing, and this actually applies to all the new Halo Online maps that were included in the tags with the recent update, but they all have these ammo boxes on them. Two types of ammo boxes actually, this larger one and a slimmer version. These were all left over from the actual Halo Online version of these maps, and they're not usable anymore. Like nothing happens when you try to pick them up or walk over them, but they're still there. And I'm probably going to remove them actually from the map pack that I put on Steam Workshop, because they're kind of, they don't really do anything, and people have said that I should remove them, so I probably will. Another interesting thing that also applies to all the maps is that there's a bunch of empty weapon spawns around the map in the mod tools. You can see that there are like places where weapons are supposed to spawn, but there's nothing there. These, I assume, were the leftover spawns where the DMR was supposed to be placed, among other like Halo Online exclusive weapons, but they're not included in the mod tools, so that's why there's nothing there. And that does apply to all the other maps too. So that's really it for Diamondback. Just a couple interesting things here and there. Next up we have is Lockout. This is a very like nice looking map. It looks really cool. But there's not really too much that's like extraordinary about this map. But I do want to point out that this map's bounds, like the actual playable space that you can use or you can forge in or mod stuff in, is huge. Like, look at that. That is huge. The actual like normal like intended playable area is just a very tiny part of this, but there's a lot of open areas here. You could even like recreate like that battle from like Star Wars Battlefront, not from Star Wars Episode 3. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot you could do with that open space. And the next interesting thing here is that if you keep flying up in the mod tools out of bounds, you can actually like go into space. It's just like Valhalla, where if you keep flying up, you pass through the clouds and through the atmosphere, and eventually you end up in outer space. Well, it's the same on this map. Like, if you keep going up, you'll eventually reach outer space. And you can see all the stars up here and everything that you normally can't see from within the map. Like, I don't think you could see the stars, at least. But you can pretty much go all the way up out there. But it's out of bounds of the map, so you can't really do much with it. Anyways, next up we have Powerhouse. This map is apparently was supposed to be intended to be included with Halo Online as well, but it's a straight up direct port from Reach, and just like all the other Halo Online maps, has the ammo crates and the DMR spawns, so the empty spawns. But you can tell that this map is pretty rough compared to the other maps included. It's in a much rougher shape, and there are like areas that keep popping in and out in the mod tools. And aside from that, though, there's really no difference from the actual like Powerhouse from Reach. Everything's just a straight up port over. But I guess what you could say is interesting is that there's a bunch of open areas out here left over from the campaign, and you could visit all these too, and maybe even like spawn stuff out here, be it in Forge or with the mod tools. But I don't think it's all, not everything is solid outside the map actually, so I'm not sure how much is useful out here. I think some of it was solid back in Halo Reach, but don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely positive about that. It actually might not have been solid at all in Reach. I can't remember off the top of my head, but a lot of interesting areas out here that could potentially be useful for other things. But all of it is leftover stuff from the Halo Reach campaign. Alright, so next up we have the map Reactor. On this map, there's only a few things on this map as well, but on this map, if you actually fly all the way out to the frigate here, so normally in game you saw the pelicans flying around the map, just going back and forth, but if you actually see where the pelicans spawn, where they start from before they start flying around, they start from like inside the frigate. And when I mean inside the frigate, I mean like literally like inside parts of the frigate that they shouldn't be. There's only like one pelican that's kind of in the hangar, but the rest are like just in random places of the frigate. Also, this frigate itself is the Aegis Fate, which is the same frigate that's used on the map Sandtrap. I don't know if that's actually the case with the original Halo Online maps. I don't know if they use the exact same frigate or not, but that's what it is here. Also, these Hornets flying around, they're just flock Hornets. Like, they're low poly, low detail, but they're actually not that bad compared to like some other maps where it's just like blobs flying out the map. And then the next thing is, if you go underneath the map here, you can actually see the full extent of the reactor cores in here, or the fuel rods, because it does kind of open up a little bit, but you don't actually get to see the entire like structure underneath. And this is what the full reactor looks like underneath the map that you normally don't get to see in game, or even with theater mode for that matter. And the next thing, the last thing, is that this map also has a huge playable area, or huge like usable area. And you can see the bounds of the map are huge compared to the actual like map that you normally play in. So this is another technically really huge map, just like Lockout. And next up, well, really the last map that was included in the Halo Online maps for this release is Skybridge. This map has actually a few interesting things on it. And the first one, well, so within the map there's actually not too many interesting things. Actually, there's really nothing like remarkable within the map, but it's really what's outside of the map that's most interesting, or most curious, I should say. So let's go out of the map. So the bounds of this map are pretty small compared to some of the previous maps we've seen. It's just really just within the immediate area that we play in. The out of bounds, where with all these skyscrapers out here, the first one is this interesting building with scrolling text at the top. I believe this is in Korean, and running that through a translator, I can't really tell what it is. The translator is not accurate, but it does. The results aren't accurate either. Like, they're not consistent. It just says like containing enemies something, or hostile containment, and it changes every time that I like scan it. Like here it says enemies, great disaster, combined force. This one kind of makes the most sense. It could be like a news announcement saying that like there's some enemies cause like great damage or something, or like here even says like enemy ships. So I assume the context of that probably means like the enemy's been contained, or the enemy ships cause like a lot of destruction, or enemy ships have been contained, or something like that. But if anyone can actually like read that text, feel free to like do a proper translation and let me know in the comments down below what that actually translates to. The next one is like outside the map, like really far away. You can't really see the details from within the map, but there's a lot of like flying vehicles or flying cars outside, and if we get up close and pause the game, this is actually what it looks like. And as you can see, they're just like 2D textures that just flying around. You can't even really make out what the vehicle looks like, so I'm not even sure what kind of vehicle it's supposed to be, but that's what it looks like flying outside the map. And there's a couple of variants of it too. Like the first ones you saw, those look okay-ish, but that one you just saw there, I can't even make out what it is. Also, these cars on the ground that you could see driving around from a distance, they're also just like flat 2D textures that just move around in a straight line, and that's really all there is to them. But that's what they look like up close if you're ever curious. Now, the next thing is that from within the map, we can see that there is a sun shining through the sky. If we fly up to that sun is actually just floating right in the middle of the city, which is kind of funny, because if there actually was like a star, like an actual star inside the middle of the city, everything would be like incinerated instantly. But there's actually, that's really where it's located in relation to the actual map. But it's not surprising, because you're not meant to go out of bounds and get up close to it, but that's where it is. Alright, so that wraps it up for this video. Hopefully you guys found this to be interesting, and if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like. If there's anything else I missed on the map, anything like any other secrets or any interesting thing that you think I missed, just let me know what it is down in the comments below, and I might cover it in a future video. Or if there's anything else we look into as well, just let me know in the comments below as well, and I'll definitely do my best to look into it when I get a chance. But aside from that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.